Now, in a landmark judgment that was made by the Supreme Court today, they have questioned the effectuality of the odd-even scheme that was to be rolled out by the Delhi government from November 13 onwards. Right after that, in a press conference, the Environment Minister of Delhi, Gopal Rai, has come out and said that this scheme is going to be halted for the time being. There is not going to be any odd-even scheme that is going to be rolled out from November 13th up until November 20th, and a decision will be taken in this regard after November 21st. So, while we talk about the effectiveness of the odd-even scheme, there has been citing of the research studies that have been done by a number of organizations and think tanks that were cited, like I said, by the Delhi government while putting their point across to the Supreme Court with regards to implementation of the odd-even scheme. Amongst the various organizations, institutions that were referred to by the Delhi government was also the TERI Institute, which is the Energy and Resources Institute, that came up with this report saying that the odd-even scheme in fact helps in reducing pollution in Delhi to a large extent. In fact, on the telecast with me is Dr. Anju Goyal, who is the Fellow and Associate Director for Air Quality Research Division of the Energy and Resources Institute, TERI. It's good to have you, Dr. Anju Goyal, on the telecast with me. The first question I would like to get an answer from you is about how the Delhi government cited this research paper from TERI to strengthen its argument in the Supreme Court for implementing the odd-even scheme. What does your study indicate with regards to the air pollution and how vehicular pollution can reduce air pollution in vehicular traffic reduction can reduce air pollution in Delhi, and to what extent?
Right. So, as per TERI's study, around 40% of the contribution to the Delhi's air quality comes from the transport sector. But when we talk about transport sector, so it does not only include cars. And if we further break down this 40%, most of it is being contributed by the heavy duty trucks and buses, followed by three-wheelers, two-wheelers and cars. So primarily, when we apply odd-even schemes, so odd-even scheme is being applied only to a smaller proportion of the overall transport sector, which is cars only, whose contribution is already limited. So as per our opinion, we don't see too much of impact of the odd-even scheme on Delhi's air quality.
Fair enough. So when the Delhi government goes out in the Supreme Court, put out its argument and mentions TERI research paper to then, qualify its response, qualify its argument of the decision it has taken over odd-even scheme, do you think this is in some way misleading the Supreme Court?
Actually, when you talk about contributions, it is very important to go into the details, into the numbers. If you will just make your argument on the basis of the total contribution from the transport sector, I think then it will definitely mislead the Supreme Court, and there is a need to go into the much deeper details of the numbers if we talk about transport sector.
Okay. Now the Supreme Court has observed, like you said, the odd-even scheme is only relegated to very small percentage of the vehicular traffic pollution that is contributed in the Delhi air. Now, in such a situation, what do you think would be the ideal way to curb air pollution coming in from vehicular traffic, and what are the recommendations and suggestions you would like to give to the government of Delhi?
Right. So, as per our study that we did in 2019, we assessed different options to curb vehicular pollution in Delhi. So one of the most prominent option that came out was the fleet modernization of trucks and buses. Because older the vehicle, it pollute more. And Delhi is a place, no doubt, like there is a ban on the entry of trucks during daytime, but they do pass through the city during night time. And if they are of a very older age, they are going to heavily pollute the city. So this is going to be the first and the foremost action which we need to focus on. The second action is the electrification of two-wheelers and three-wheelers. because out of the 40%, if you will see, a larger chunk is also being contributed by two-wheelers and three-wheelers, and promotion of the electrification of two-wheelers and three-wheelers in a greater extent can definitely help Delhi government to curb the pollution, especially from the vehicular sector.
Okay, we see that a very large percentage, in fact maximum of the three-wheelers now run on CNG. They are contributing to lesser pollution now, but do you think these three-wheelers need to be turned electric to ensure that there is no pollution whatsoever emanating out of these vehicles?
Right. So even if you turn on CNG, no doubt amount of the particulate matter is being reduced drastically as compared to the diesel run vehicle or the gasoline run vehicle. But CNG do produce NOx, and NOx is responsible for the secondary particulate matter formulation. So when we talk about particulate matter, primarily there are two types of particulate matter. One is a primary that is directly being emitted from a source. Other one is a secondary that is being formulated within the atmosphere because of the presence of gases such as a NOx, sulfur dioxide, volatile organic carbons. So when we want to curb particulate matter, we need to look at the sources of primary as well as the secondary particulate matter. So it contributes indirectly to the particulate matter.
Okay, so when we talk about going electric, and you speaking about the larger percentage of the vehicular traffic pollution is attributed to trucks that ply on Delhi roads in the night time. No, so the transitioning of the trucks running on diesel to electric vehicles, to turning electric, would be the ideal situation. At least when the Delhi government starts, the buses have already been started, like, you know, of the 10,000 fleet of buses in Delhi, 800 to 1,000 of them are already turned electric. The aim of the Delhi government is to turn all the buses, and by 2025 at least 8,000 of the buses of the 10,000 fleet has to be electric. But the problem, the challenge is then when there are trucks that are plying on Delhi roads, they come in from across the borders, from UP and from Haryana and from Punjab. In such a situation, it becomes a challenging job to then transition all these diesel vehicles, diesel trucks into electric vehicles. What's the solution to it?
Right. So transitioning all these trucks to the electric vehicle is definitely not possible in the near term. But what is possible is to push the central government to fix the age of a vehicle and to promote fleet modernization. That needs to be pushed not only within the one state, within the one union territory, that is Delhi, rather at a larger scale. Even if you look at the overall phenomena that Delhi experiences, as per our study, only 30 to 35% of the pollution is being contributed by the sources which are located in Delhi, and the rest of it comes from outside area which is nearby Delhi. So if we really want to have a better air quality in Delhi, we need to focus on a larger area. We need to go on the airshed based management. Definitely electrification of the trucks is not possible, but conversion to a better technology. Nowadays BS6 norms has come into place, but it is also important to convert these older trucks by providing some incentives or the subsidies into the newer technologies, equally important, and that can be pushed at the central by the central government.
Okay, so out of the total pollution emanating out of Delhi, when we talk about, you say 40% of the pollution results from the vehicular traffic in Delhi, and what percentage of the pollution can be attributed to construction? If you could give us a breakdown of which are the key major contributors of pollution in Delhi.
Right. So if you talk about major contributors of pollution in Delhi, another major contributor is a solid fuel burning in the domestic sector. You will be surprised to know that there is around, there is around 14% of the total pollution comes from the domestic biomass burning, and most of it happens either in the slums or in the area nearby Delhi. which is another big contributor apart from the transport sector.
Okay.
And the rest,
Okay.
and the rest of it comes from the industrial sector, which is again, around 13%, that comes from industrial sector. So
Okay.
these are some of the very big sources which are there in Delhi.
What about the construction activities that take place, and what is their contribution?
Contribution of the construction activities is not much. It is hardly 2 to 3%. If we see the winter season contribution in the concentrations.
Okay, and how do you deal with the stubble burning and the westerly winds that bring in that poor air quality into Delhi? What is the percentage of stubble burning that causes pollution in Delhi?
Right. So if you look at the stubble burning on an yearly average, the numbers and the contribution is not huge. It's hardly 3 to 4% in Delhi's air quality. But if you look at the episodic concentrations, certain episodes in the beginning of November or end of October, if you will see, so the concentrations can go so the contribution can go as high as 25% in Delhi's air quality.
Okay, all right. Thank you so much, Dr. Manju, for joining us on the telecast and giving us all these figures and giving us an exact idea of how there can be action that can be taken by the government to ensure the pollution reduces on a permanent, sustainable basis, instead of having these ad hoc measures and corrective measures and emergency measures that the Delhi government has taken this year and continues to take during the month of October and November. I'm going to get other panelists also on the telecast with me. I have with me Chirag Sethi, who's the Aam Aadmi Party spokesperson. Now, Chirag Sethi, as per the division that has been given by Dr. Manju with regards to which are the contributors, key contributors of pollution, air pollution in Delhi, when it comes to transport pollution, it is largely the trucks that are plying in Delhi that are responsible for it. So, when the Delhi government takes measures to make entire Delhi electric, or that's the aim that Delhi government has built for itself, what percentage of the efforts are going into making the trucks electric?
So, Megha, you have to understand that there are a lot of factors in this that Delhi government doesn't control, because the trucks travel from far off places like Tamil Nadu or Karnataka or Odisha. So you cannot just ban everything. In Delhi EV's policy, if you look at, the Delhi government is giving subsidies, the Delhi government is providing cheaper electricity. So about 16% of the vehicles in Delhi is run on electricity. Even if you look at the last mile connectivity from a metro station or from a bus stand, we have about 71,000 e-rickshaws on which the Delhi government gives about 30,000 rupees as a subsidy. So what we're trying to do here is we're trying to convert as many vehicles as possible to the electric on the electrical side. But if you look at the trucks, most of the trucks that reach Delhi do not originate their journey from Delhi. A lot of time these are import goods that are coming to Delhi, or they're bypassing Delhi.
Yeah. So then, do you really think the odd even scheme would work in reducing air pollution in the city?
So, Megha, we have
the fact that you have not implemented it for the last 4 years, the last time it was implemented was in 2016, and there was a lot of criticism that was faced by Aam Aadmi Party for implementing the scheme. So, and today also the Supreme Court has wrapped Delhi government. It has said that the impact of odd even scheme is negligible when it comes to wanting to reduce air pollution in the city.
See, we have to understand there are some measures that are immediate and there are some measures that are long term. So when the pollution is at a severe plus category, what we're trying to do, we're trying to reduce the number of vehicles on the road, because the amount of fuel that is burned.
The maximum pollution, like you said, it comes from trucks. It doesn't even come from cars and two-wheelers and three-wheelers.
So we can't, again, we alone cannot do it. Our ministers were on the road. They were at the toll plazas at all the borders on Delhi last evening, and they realized there were a lot of trucks that were being allowed to pass in, or there was a lot of traffic jam that was there. That was defeating the whole purpose. The whole purpose is that a vehicle should move, it should not stand and burn the fuel. If the Dr. Goyal is there, she can agree to this, that a lot of pollution comes when the vehicle is stagnant and it's not moving and it's burning fuel. What we're trying to do is we're removing those vehicles off the road, and
but you also know that every single time you are on a traffic signal and it's the red light, if you put off your vehicle and again you put it on, the kind of exertion that comes on the engine, which is again burning a lot of carbon and which also contributes to pollution, not to mention the vehicle and its engine that deteriorates over time.
Because we have to understand, again, like I said, we are not implementing this all around the year. This is a very severe measure that we're only telling at the time when the air quality is really poor. And Delhi is not responsible for it. There are other factors that are responsible for it.
The other
Delhi
big factor is the stubble burning. 25% during the episodic events that have taken place, 25% of the stubble burning. The bad air, the poor quality air then moves from Punjab to Delhi.
It's Punjab, it's Haryana, it's Rajasthan, it's Uttar Pradesh.
Larger percentage of it from Punjab.
See, in Punjab, even your data was only saying that, or even the data that I saw yesterday was suggesting that the farm fires are 50% down. CAQM data is suggesting that farm fires are 50% down. Then why it is increasing in Delhi? The AQI in Punjab is lesser than
So
Delhi.
You're saying farm fires are not responsible for poor air quality in Delhi?
They
are not largely responsible?
See, there are multiple factors. It's not just Punjab, it's even the stubble burning. Industrialization. If you look at Dr. Goyal's numbers, she said industrial
You have cited Dr. Goyal and Terry's report when Dr. Goyal and Terry has gone on and said that there is no indication where Terry has mentioned that there needs to be an odd-even scheme that needs to be launched. But also, I want to ask one more question about the odd-even scheme. Thankfully, it has been rolled back by the Environment Minister in Delhi today, but you know, you are targeting one section of the society, which is the middle class, the households that have just one car, and they are then going to bear the brunt of it. But, you know, climbing onto these cabs, hiring these Olas and Ubers is an expensive affair. To be traveling every single day or every alternate day for the 10 days that you demarcated as odd-even scheme days is going to be a heavy charge on their pocket. It's going to take out a large sum of money from their monthly budget.
So, Megha, that is the reason why our Minister Shri Gopal Rai suggested that this is not an immediate measure that we're applying. He suggested that this should be done after Diwali, keeping in mind the condition of the air quality. Now, today
now you said because it is rain, therefore we are not going to launch it. I don't know. Is it the pretext of it, or is it the Supreme Court who has come out with the statement and the observations?
No, we have given our affidavit in the Supreme Court. We have suggested that this is the amount of fuel that was burned lesser during that time. This is the study we have cited. We have given all the required data to the Supreme Court. This is something that is why we wanted to do it, because we have realized this is one of the immediate measures that we can do. We can't just tell all the trucks to stop coming to Delhi. We can't just do it alone. We have to have the central government intervention into this.
Okay, fair enough. You've made your point. Thank you for joining me and sharing your views and clarifying your stand. But thankfully, right now, Delhiites do not have to face the odd-even scheme. There has been, like I said, repeated criticism that has come in implementation of it. The reason why the Delhi government has not rolled it out up until now, since 2016, says a lot about the inefficacy of the odd-even scheme. I also have with me Advocate Gaurav Kochar. He is a Delhiite. He lives in Delhi. Gaurav, what do you make of the Supreme Court judgment today and the odd-even scheme that has been rolled back?
See, we were discussing 2 days back also the odd-even scheme. When it went to the Supreme Court for an observation, Supreme Court has totally asked with regard to file an affidavit, what are the total benefits of this scheme? And now it's been rolled back, just giving an citing that the pollution has come down because of the rains today happens in Delhi and NCR. So it's like Dr. Anju has segregated each and every particle of the pollution level, how the pollution comes in. And totally depends on the heavy vehicles, not depending totally on the LMV, that lower motor vehicle, and it will be a burn to the actual commuters who are commuting on the daily basis. Supreme Court has totally questioned the sanctity why this is being applied again, because the previous studies have mentioned, and previous study have explained that this odd even scheme is not a relief for the Delhiites, for the residents of the NCR. It's just a mere will over, just mere a curtain over the actual thing which is happening. What about the policy which the state government has to implement? They're not coming up with any policy measures. The policy which should have been implemented 5 years back, we are still on the same track every year at this point of time.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I have with me Sharad Kohli as well. And Sharad Kohli, I brought you on the telecast specifically to focus on how to make Delhi electric. And as per what Dr. Anju Goyal of TERI has spoken, that the larger percentage of the air pollution from vehicular traffic comes from the trucks. Now, it becomes a very, very challenging task, because it's a drive that will have to be taken not just by Delhi, but state governments and the central government across the country. How do we tackle the situation? How do we ensure that all state governments are on the same page and there's uninhibited cooperation amongst all?
Well, Megha, I've been harping about cooperative federalism for the last 3 or 4 days, ever since you've run this particular campaign. Cooperative federalism is one of the solutions. I don't need to elaborate it as to what do we want to say, because I don't come from the world of politics. As for the political fraternity to understand that, what is cooperative federalism and how this can benefit, that's one. Second, electrification. Well, I think the infrastructure on electric vehicles needs to be augmented. There's no doubt about it. We need more charging stations. The cost of vehicles has to come down. The longevity of the batteries has to be increased. The cost of lithium batteries has to come down, and so on and so forth. We've been discussing that so many times. But more important, a very important point here, Megha, with your permission, that vehicles remain on the road all through the year. For me, there are two reasons of pollution. Although we have Dr. Anju, who has very sensibly dissected the reasons for pollution. But if you go by common sense, vehicles, those 2 crore vehicles on Delhi roads, they are there all through the year. So construction goes on all through the year. What is unique about this October, November, December, whatever, what is unique about this window? One is stubble, of course. And the second is the weather conditions. So I think when the other things remain constant throughout the year, why not focus on these two? And if an odd even is an emergency measure, then I feel removal of parali from the farmers at the time or a day before they are able to harvest or day before they burn is more the need of hour, rather than taking an emergency measure like this. Yesterday I said on your channel, Megha, that one day before, the state government machinery should be in place, that the moment farmers want, because they've got a 15 days window where they have to sow the next crop. One day before, the logistics should be in place, the man and the machine should be in place, and it should be removed and trapped in a warehouse. What we are going to do with the stubble, we'll decide later. Let them not go up in the smoke. Let the stubble not go up in the smoke. I think odd even, I wish there was an odd even for burning parali. Let plot numbers 2, 4, 6 burn on one day, and plot number 3, 5, 7 burn on another day. I wish there was something like that done. I mean, why penalize the middle class whose vehicles we've got very modern cars. In fact, you can't buy a car in Delhi which is polluting. You can't drive a car which is diesel, which is more than 10 years old. You can't drive a petrol car which is more than 15 years old. Your cars are challaned and are a trouble. If vehicles were a trouble, then what about you got other festivals here happening and there's a heavy traffic jam in Delhi. We still live it through. I think the two main reasons have to be attacked, odd even for me is not a solution. And I completely, I can't say I agree with Supreme Court, but I support Supreme Court in it saying that what benefit is it going to give you? I think cloud seeding, God did its own cloud seeding before the IIT Kanpur could submit the study mega. I think the God of rain thought, let me be quicker and let me just do it for them. Let the study not come and they think of silver iodide being thrown up in the sky. And I think the God did it for us.
Also the question, if cloud seeding and getting artificial rain was really the problem solver, the country would not be facing droughts. So I don't know the feasibility of it. And like I said, the Aam Aadmi, I got the Terry spokesperson, the researcher from there. She has clarified that there were bits and pieces that were picked from the study and then presented by the Aam Aadmi Party government in front of the Supreme Court to qualify their argument just for the sake of it, because then it's a political ploy as well. On that note, Advocate Anmol Pawar also on the telecast with me. And Advocate Pawar, the situation the problem is that the air pollution is so bad in Delhi during this 15-day window between October and November, and the solution is not being able to found out by the political parties, and it's become a very political, unfortunate situation which doesn't seem to have an answer till the time the Supreme Court goads all the state governments to come up with a solution, which was also said that until and unless the Supreme Court does something about it, things don't move.
I don't agree with this. I think Delhi government has done a remarkable job since last 8 years. Since the time they came in...
If Delhi government had done such a remarkable job, and if Punjab government had done such a remarkable job, we would not have been facing the brunt of stubble burning.
But the figures, as per the latest study...
I will not get into the figures, it's just common sense, because there are conflicting figures, that come out from all sides. And there are reasons to believe, and actually understand that stubble burning, while there is a loophole in it, the numbers come in up until 8 p.m. and farmers have become smarter enough to burn their stubble after 8 p.m. So I do not believe in any numbers. It's a smoke screen. It's at the end of the day making a fool out of people and finding ways to wriggle out of the situation by political parties, whether it is Punjab or Delhi or Haryana, but more importantly Punjab, because the maximum number of farm fires happen from Punjab. So if you go about giving me these reasons and excuses and pretexts of farm fires not being a reason for the pollution in Delhi, I refuse to buy it. I live in Delhi, I'm a citizen of Delhi, and I'm dying a fast death of every single day of my life, getting cut simply because I live in Delhi and I smoke this hazardous air.
If you could recall, in November 2021, just before the Punjab election, the Honorable Supreme Court said that farmers are not responsible for Delhi pollution. It only contributes 10% of the pollution.
What is it that you are finding unbelievable about the Supreme Court statement that has come today?
See, I'll back my claim as per the latest data, which says that Punjab government has also done a remarkable job.
I will then have to mention this, that you are talking in favor of the Aam Aadmi Party. You have allegiances to Aam Aadmi Party government. And I'm sorry to say it's unfortunate that you, being a political analyst, are siding a particular government and not really speaking about the citizens of the country, or for that matter, citizens of Delhi. All right, I'm out of time.
I'm not siding anyone. I'm just stating the record straight.
I'm out of time. I thank all of you for joining me on the telecast. Our campaign continues. My campaign continues that there has to be a permanent, sustainable solution. While there should be an effort on war footing to turn Delhi electric, there needs to be firm, strong, immediate action coming in from the Punjab government side to stop this stubble burning. There has to be contribution that needs to be provided by the central government itself. Please do not play the blame game. Please don't make people of the city of Delhi and Punjab the fools. We understand what the problem is. We are smart enough to understand it, and it is the onus of the governments who are elected, who are the representatives of the people, to take action and not do this tomfoolery in front of us and in front of the Supreme Court.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.